Hey Gold Digger, Kimberly Olson here, back for another episode of #GetLit, where we crush your business in less than 10 minutes. For today's episode, we're going to talk about how to increase your prices without losing potential clients. So if you aren't charging the right amount, you're obviously going to maybe get burnt out from that, or you just want more, right? You want to attract more revenue into your business, but you're not quite sure how to make that jump to a higher price point, or what does that transition look like? So I'm actually going to go back to when I first launched, what I was charging, how I was able to make those big, huge increases with price points and be able to scale up to $7 million in total sales. So this is absolutely going to help you out. Stay tuned and we'll see you inside the training. I think we all can agree that we typically start off at a low price point and we're worried about high ticket, or we're worried about jumping up too high, or, what do we do if we want to make that leap without losing clients, right? Or the amount of clients we could get if we get a lower price point. So let me just share with you a little bit about my experience with this. And I've got, six steps here for you to be able to go through this process. When I first started, and one of the first things I launched was a membership club. And based on what I saw others doing and where I was at with my own mindset, I charged $9.99 for this membership club. And I did a training in there every single week. So it wasn't, where they could access some templates or something. Like, I was in there every single week and already had my company launched. I was doing boot camps and all the things, $9.99. Now, luckily I had a big enough audience that I was able to scale that up, and I continued to raise the price on it. But when I first started, I really, really should have been at a much higher price point. So what I want you to think about is this: when you're newer, it's okay to start at a lower amount. I think that in this world of high ticket, and we're seeing so much on social, and I'm a part of that, right? Like, I talk about, coming up on $7 million in revenue. Like, I talk about money and wealth and all the things a lot. So not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying, with all the visibility of social media and such massive success, especially for female entrepreneurs over the last 5 years, the amount of coaches and people with agencies, the numbers are so big that we're like, oh my gosh, this person's charging $10,000 and I want to charge this. Don't compare yourself. They're light years ahead of you with how they see themselves. The amount that you're going to charge is all a reflection of you. Okay, of course, you'll do a little market research, but it's mostly you. I mean, right now I'm charging for, there's things that I charge a fraction of the cost, like fraction of what I'm charging now is what I want to say with that. Because I am different. I know my value, I know my worth, and I know that that's what the price is, okay? So if you are starting out and you want to charge a lower amount and you're just not there yet with the value, and you're going to work on that, right? That's why I do the different trainings I do. We're going to work on that so that way you can raise, your self-esteem, your self-image, and your confidence to charge more. But it is okay to start with a lower ticket amount. People will tell you, no, do premium luxury. Yes, that's awesome. And I also think you got to catch up to that. And I see people out there wanting to do super high ticket, and they just don't have the audience yet. They don't have the numbers and all the things. It doesn't mean you can't do it. And some people do, but I also think that there's a starting point for a lot of people that might not be that. So you got to listen, you got to trust your gut. Don't feel bad if you want to charge something lower, okay? But when you do that, we need to increase your prices. That same program that was $9.99 is now $147. So now, I've built it into, $500,000 revenue stream starting at $9.99. So wherever you are, know that you can grow, okay? First thing you're going to do is you're going to launch, obviously, whatever way, email, reaching out to people, however you're going to do it, you're going to launch. Now, what I recommend doing is, when you want to do a price increase, communicate that price increase. So if you have something that's an ongoing thing, send an email out, maybe go live, let people know about the price increase and say, hey, this price is going up. This is the deadline for it. This is, the doors are closing. I like to do a set time period for launches and say, this is the hard stop for that. And after that, you'll see a price increase. So you want to have go ahead and launch it, tell people what it is, have a deadline for the price increase. And when you're feeling that, where you're like, okay, I'm ready, publicly let people know. So what happens is you create a little bit of FOMO, healthy FOMO, because the nature of people is to put things off or get stuck in paralysis analysis. So they need a little kick in the pants, and this will do that for them. So it's a good thing. I personally think it's great. I love having deadlines. There's a program I got into that I ended up spending probably $200,000. I was in this program. I'm actually still in a different one, but I've spent a few $100,000 with this one coach. And the first time I got in is because she was doubling her prices. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you please honor that, honor that price? I'll come in if I don't have to pay the double price. And it worked because I came in, the FOMO was there, got in, and ended up coaching under her for years and years and years. So you want to have a deadline for your price increase. Make sure it's a real deadline and you actually are honoring it. Don't just say it to say it. Then after you have the deadline happen, you are going to do the price increase. You need to do the price increase, because if you say, oh, price increase, and you don't do it, one, you're out of integrity. And two, people might see that later and they're like, oh, whatever. They won't believe you the next time you say you have a price increase because you didn't do the price increase last time. Okay. So actually do the price increase. I do forget this sometimes personally because we're on to the next thing. So I understand, but do your best to do the price increase. What I also recommend doing is to gradually increase your price. So I just shared my example of $9.99 up to $147. I have another program that was a few $1,000s when I launched it, and now it's $12,000. So I was able to do that because every time we launched it, every few months, when we closed it, we would say, and we're going to do a price increase. And we just raised it $50 a month. It was a long-term commitment, but we would just do $50, $100, and just kept increasing it. So there was no sticker shock. And again, it has nothing to do with your audience per se. It's more about you and your confidence in selling that price point, right? So it actually helps you to do these gradual increases, in my opinion. So you're going to gradually increase the price. Then what I recommend doing is when you get to a tipping point where you're like, oh no, you haven't priced yourself out, but you're starting to feel uncomfortable with the how high you've gone, then what I recommend doing is you can do one of two things. You can either restructure the program. So for example, we had a 6-month program where I got to a point where I thought the monthly, we had jumped too high. I was like, oh no, right? Like you watch someone's training that's like high ticket and premium and luxury, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm undercharging, right? So I jumped too high and I didn't feel comfortable with it. We did enroll people in it, but I was like, so we changed it from a 6-month to a 12-month, dropped the monthly, but the overall amount, the overall investment had increased. So you can also play with the structure of it or put something else in it, right? Maybe it's a course and you price it too high and you're like, okay, I'm going to add some live trainings to it. So what I recommend doing is really, you can if you wanted to, but I don't recommend doing this. Never discount. Okay. If possible, don't discount. Once in a while we do like cool things like, for everybody who got into this program, you can, get into this program. We do cool things for our students, our influencers. You can decide on that. But what my point is, instead of discounting things, see if you can add bonuses instead. Look through other trainings you've put out there, even like replays of master classes. Could you bundle those, or replays of challenges? Could you bundle those, repackage those so that now we have almost a mini course that we could throw in as a bonus? Look back at other things you've created. You'll be surprised, because the nature of entrepreneurs is the next thing and what can we create and all of that, right? But you'd actually be surprised at how much you have in your arsenal that you can repurpose and add as a bonus. So instead of thinking, oh no, it's too high now, say, no, how can I make this more valuable? Again, where you feel good selling it. Oh, well, if I add these 5 bonuses, right, or whatever, holy cow. Okay. Also, be okay with less is more. So although we have raised our price now to $147 a month for that membership club I was telling you about, that's $9.99, we have less people in it. I'm making way more from it than I did when it was $9.99, but we have less people. So at the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, if you have a certain revenue stream, look at the big picture. How much money is that bringing you in? So if you have a course and it's bringing in, let's say you have a course, and that course isn't a good example of this. I guess I could still work. Let's say you have a course and you have, this course brings in $100,000 for the year. And you're like, sweet. And if you do a price increase, you're like, oh no, less people are going to buy it because you raised the price. But the overall amount for the year brings in 150,000, it makes sense for you to raise the price. You'll have less people buying it, but you made more money because you did a price increase. And you'd be surprised, price increases, even just small incremental, with especially for those of you that have, more high volume versus just a handful of clients, you'll see a little price increase over time can bring in a lot more revenue for you, even if you lose some potential clients. And the other thing too with price increases is, by nature, the higher up you go, the better quality of the client that you're going to attract to you. So think about yourself. For those of you investing, at the multiple 6-figure to or multiple 5-figure to 6-figure range per year, think about what kind of client you are. You're probably low maintenance. You're probably positive. You're probably coming in, learning, implementing, right? Like, you're probably a great client because you're investing at that level. If you think about people in your lowest tier offer you've ever had, a lot of times that's where you get the default payments, you get the headaches, you get people who are maybe negative, blaming you for their lack of success. So when you raise your prices, you're attracting more of your ideal client, someone you really enjoy working with. So be okay with less is more, because when you have less, you can even service those clients better because there's less clients, right? So the whole thing is in your favor, but you have to be aligned with it. You have to believe in that price and knowing that it's all going to work out. And there is sometimes a gap when you do that price increase and you do have a drop in clients and some shifting happening. So that's why reoccurring revenue is so important in multiple streams of revenue as well. Okay. So that is what I have for you today. And I hope this is helpful. If this was, take a screenshot, throw it in your stories and tag me at the Goal Digger Girl. I'd love to hear how this helped you. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell to subscribe. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button. And if you're on LinkedIn, make sure you leave a comment. I'd love to connect with you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you soon.